Hey graphic designers, this is Mike here, and today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look how to create type on fire in Photoshop. That's right, what we're going to do is create some special effects in Photoshop. We're going to show you some techniques that will allow you to go and take regular type and add flames to it. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want you to do is we need to create a document so I can actually have the type on fire. One thing I need to do here is go up to File, New, and one thing I want to make sure the size wise, I want to make sure the size is 7 inches in width, height is 5 inches, and the resolution is 72. And then what we're going to do is I want to make sure that your color mode that you're in is grayscale. And if it's not, click on the drop down list and choose grayscale. Go ahead and click OK. And the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to fill this area in with black. And what I want you to do is just go up to Edit, Fill, change the foreground color where it says Use, click on the drop down list and click on black. When I click OK, my whole screen goes to black. Now you might be asking yourself, why are we in grayscale? Because if we're in grayscale, I can't add color. And if I want to add type on fire, don't you think we need color? Well, there's a couple commands that we'll be using in Photoshop that you cannot do in the color mode. You actually have to do it in the grayscale mode. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at. So now we have a document that's filled up with black. And now I'm going to have you take your type tool. And when I do this, I want to go in, switch my foreground colors. So I wanted to have foreground color as white. So what I want to do here is I'm going to switch the colors by clicking on the double arrows. The other thing is I need a font that is a little bit bolder, a little bit thicker, and the one I'm going to choose is Comic Sans. As you see up here on my control palette that I have up here, I have Comic Sans and I have the font size set at 72 points. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be ready to click. I'm going to type in some words here. Remember, when you add type to Photoshop, it actually adds it to its own layer. Do you see down here in the bottom right hand corner of my layers palette, it says layer 1. I want to go ahead and click on the move tool. I'm going to just position this text a little more to the center and toward the bottom. Now notice again my layer, notice how it says fire cell and it has what I've typed in. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to select my text because I'm going to use that selection down the road, so keep that in mind. To select anything that's on a layer, what I want you to do is I want you to hold down your control key and I want you to click over on your layer on the actual thumbnail where it says the letter T. What that does is it selects your whole outline of your text. We're going to save that selection to use later down the road. To do so, I'm going to go up to Select, Save Selection. You can give it any name you want. I'm just going to name it Fire. I'm going to click OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to deselect what I have. I don't need it selected anymore. And then what I want to do is flatten my layer, and I'm going to do this by going up to Layer and choose Flatten Image. This puts the layer on your layers palette over here on the right hand side. You'll see the only thing you have now is the background. Now what I want to do next is I need to get the fire to look like it's flames. Now notice if you look at your text right now, there's no flames. So what we're going to do is we're going to make flames by using a couple filters. These filters that I'm going to use next, called the wind filter, only works with items if you go left to right. So what I want to do next is I'm going to go up to Image in your menu system. I want to choose Rotate Canvas and I'm going to choose 90 degrees counterclockwise. Notice how the text is slanted or rotated. And now I'm going to go up to Filter. I'm going to come down to Stylize and choose Wind. Notice how the text, how we're getting some blurriness on the top edge. I'm going to turn on the method called Blast, and notice how it looks. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now, do you see what I'm going for here? I'm looking and trying to get that flames to come up. And I want to do one more time. I'm going to go up to Filter, and since it remembers the last thing you did, I'm going to choose Wind right up here. Some people do a couple more just because they want the flames to go higher and higher. Now what I want to do, I'm done with the wind filter, so I'm going to rotate this back. Now when you look at this, it doesn't look like flames. So what we're going to have to do is apply a couple other filters to help break up the straight lines that go up. And to do so, we're going to go up to Filter, and we're going to have to, there's so many filters you could actually probably work with here. Things from noise down to sketch using one of the commands like reticulation or notepaper. I'm going to go to Stylize, and I'm going to use Diffuse. Now all you have to do is leave everything normal, click OK, and see how it broke up the straight lines? Getting closer and closer to those flames that I want. Now I want you to go back up to Filter, and we're come down to Blur. I want to choose Gaussian Blur because I want to blend in. It's too rough. It's too rough, so I'm going to blur it so it creates more of a nice gradual blends. Here you're going to go between a radius between 1 and 3 depending on the size of your font. I moved mine to 1.5. I'm going to click OK. Now you can see the flame starting up, but the only problem we have here is now I've distorted my type and I can't read, especially the second word. You remember how we selected the text beforehand? Now that's where that comes back into place. I want you to go up to Select, Load Selection. I'm going to see where it says Channel. I'm going to click on the drop down list and I'm going to choose Fire. When I click OK, it loads that selection that we saved a few minutes ago. Now what I'm going to do is very simple. I'm going to fill that text in with black. It remembers anything we did previously, so all I have to do is click OK. Now what I'm going to do is deselect, and now you can almost read some of the text. Now what we want to do next is now I'm going to add the color. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Image Mode, and we're going to click on Index Color. Now you'll probably say, well, that didn't add any color. No, but it allows us to add color using our painting tools. The one thing when you're in index mode, you actually have what we call as a color table. You can look that information up in the book in your chapter. If I go up to Image Mode and click on Color Table, I can actually choose a variety of colors within the table a lot quicker than using the painting tools. Notice right now it's listed as grayscale. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the drop down list and choose black body. Now don't ask me why black body is there. It's been there since Photoshop 3, but it helps us create text on fire. Notice how the colors are from black all the way down to yellow, and look over my screen and look at the text that comes up. When I click OK, it applies that, and anywhere there's black it leaves it black. Anywhere there's white it's going to be yellow. Anything in between it's orange and red. I'm going in, and there you go. Type on fire.